Just mind your business, TK. Just mind your business. Leave it alone. Nope. So here's a video I didn't want to make. I think the general manager, or former general manager there at Flowood Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram sent me that email so fast because he didn't want me to dig into his military record or dig in to people that he served with. So, from what I know and what I've been able to gather from other Marines that Corey McDonald served with, he enlisted in 1994 in Jackson, Mississippi. He went through Paris Island boot camp. So he's not a Hollywood Marine. I give him credit for that. Then he went to the School of Infantry at Camp Greer. If you don't know where that is, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. After graduating from the School of Infantry, he was assigned to Lima Company, 3rd Battalion, 3rd Marines in Hawaii. See, this is the thing, man. It's always important that you do the right thing. This is why I bend over backwards to try to make sure I never do anything that's considered salty or fucked up to somebody that doesn't deserve it. Because it could be the next son of a bitch or the next person coming for you. You know what I'm saying? And for me, you know, seeing how this active duty service member was treated at Mac Haik, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Flowood, Mississippi, while the auto group has done everything that it can to try to make the situation right, probably to tamp down on the massive amount of negative press that they got for it. I get it. But this guy, this is a special type of scumbag. So, it's amazing what you could find out hiring a private investigator and talking to other Marines, still active, some retired. And unfortunately, this combination of name, Corey McDonald, it's not a very common name in the Marine Corps. So it was extremely easy, especially because we have this wonderful place here in Las Vegas called the Leatherneck Bar. Nothing but Marines. So, anyways, I digress. I'm going to continue. But before I do, we have to take a break for our sponsors. I know y'all don't like it, but I have to do it. Today's video is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. What, you thought it was going to be somebody else? Come on now. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest personal injury law firm. You know, if you run into somebody with the character of this person and maybe they rear-end your vehicle, or you get hurt at work, God forbid this guy's your supervisor, you need America's largest personal injury law firm to make sure that they have your back and that you are protected. You know, it is a facetious thing, and ladies say size matters, but when you're looking for a personal injury attorney, the same applies. You can get started today in 8 clicks or less from your couch, your bedroom, on the toilet, in the shower. I don't know why you weirdos would be in the shower with a phone, but whatever. Anywhere. 8 clicks or less. forthepeople.com/TK's Garage. Again, that's going to be forthepeople.com/TK's Garage. And I appreciate Morgan & Morgan for allowing me to do this good work. All right. I'm almost tempted to like kick my feet back and put the lazy boy up because, listen, we're about to go in. Anyways, so after a conversation at the Leatherneck Bar and one Marine talking to another Marine, they got a hold of somebody at CID. Now, if you don't know what CID is the Criminal Investigation Division. It would be the equivalent for Naval Criminal Investigation Service for us, or NCIS. So the Marines have CID, as does the Army. So anyways, and if you want to know what the Air Force's is, it's OSI. It's all the same thing. They just have different names, right? So anyways, I finally get or my buddy, the other Marine here, gets a thing back, and I find out that between 2.5 to 3 years of Corey McDonald's service in 1997, he failed a urinalysis for drugs. And he was kicked out of the Marine Corps and sent back to Mississippi with either, and this was the thing because I don't know what he was serving in or what he was doing. I know he was infantry, but it was either a bad conduct or general under other than honorable conditions discharge. According to my friend, who's also a Marine, he's a disgrace to the United States Marine Corps. My private investigator friend, who's been digging around Jackson, Mississippi, where I guess this guy grew up or is from around, said that they used to call this guy Story McDonald. I'm guessing that Story McDonald told a story to William LaGrange in Houston and the CEO of Mac Haik too when all of the shit was hitting the fan. That's just my guess. On a side note, the private investigator was able to find out that now these other women aren't coming after him for child support, but he might have 4 children or 5. The private investigator is still digging by 4 different women and only acknowledges one of them. That's not a thing that can be like, oh, he's guilty of a crime, but it goes towards character, right? It is what it is. So further digging into his past, we find out that guy comes from a really good family, right? A well-established family there in Jackson, Mississippi. But he's evidently been a fuck-up since he was a teenager. I mean, just speaking facts here. And this goes to all the way back to 2010. So a lot of people were asking, like, how did you find out where he worked? And how did you find out he might have been a process server or all this other stuff, right? It's amazing what happens with a little bit of money, right? You can hire a private investigator and they can find out pretty much anything. But it's crazy. There was a whole thing, and maybe I'll drop a link to it. Maybe I won't. But at one point, Mr. McDonald had a contempt of court charge, and may or may not have, because that part I can't get nailed down. Now, I've seen articles that are written by press and other people about this guy. But what I can know is that he did get found in contempt for doing fuckboy activity, scumbag activity, and may or may not have had people put into jail. Now, remember the part that I came back on where I said he had all those kids by different moms and doesn't recognize any of them but one? Yeah, some of the stuff he was doing in court was putting people in jail by falsifying documents for child support. This tea. It's good. Anyways, this puts a close on the door as far as this guy. It really doesn't matter at this point. He's fired. But at least with this video out there on the internet, and I'm sure the auto group, the dealership, Mac Haik, is going to make sure that this guy doesn't do the same thing at a different auto group. I'd hope they have enough fucking common sense to make sure this guy never works in the business again, right? Who knows? But this is just what I was able to find. Now, if you think I only dug into Corey McDonald, you'd be wrong. I dug into like 18 senior executives and employees at Mac Haik, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. And a bunch of scumbags. Just saying, there's a lot of people there with very questionable history. I will say that some that I did speak to, notably Ryan, has a good service record. Served honorably in the United States Marine Corps. Combat veteran, by the way. And I trust that he's going to turn that Mississippi area, especially that Flowood Mississippi dealership, around. I hope so. I do. But one of the things that I got too, and this was from the private investigator. I didn't get this from other Marines. This was from somebody from Jackson, Mississippi, that he talked to. And he recorded like interviews with different people that would talk to him about Mr. McDonald. And one of them, the transcript goes, "Oh, that grunt tattoo on his forearm, he got that about 10 years or so after he was kicked out of the Marine Corps in order to try to give himself some street cred." Street cred. What's crazy is, you know, the sins of the father don't always pass to the son. Evidently, his son is an amazing family man who's a soldier, which means he must have served in the U.S. Army, that served on a combat deployment to Africa with the 20th Special Forces Group. Corey has no relationship with his son. And if he is part of that silent service, I would expect that because he probably has integrity. And he has no relationship with his granddaughter. Very interesting. You guys asked me to dig, and I dug. Now here's the thing. Mr. McDonald can refute anything that I said. This is all stuff that I was able to get from private investigators and actual Marines that have actual access to this gentleman's DD-214. He's welcome to publish anything that he wants to try to refute that record. I'm always open to listen to it, but we know that that's not going to happen. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and you like what I do. I will continue to keep these motherfuckers honest because I feel it's not like a calling for me, but, you know, a wise man named Joe Rogan said it best. If you have fuck you money and you don't say fuck you, you're wasting the position. See you guys on the next one.